So I watched Transformers 1, but before we get to the movie, a couple of things first. Okay, first and foremost, I absolutely loved Bad Hassatron. Yeah, I loved that character. He was great. He 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 stole this movie, which isn't really that hard, seeing as how it's the main characters are Optimus Prime and Megatron. But despite that, kudos to this character for not only stealing this movie but actually saving it. Because if it wasn't for Bad Hassatron, this movie had nothing for me, nothing to offer me. I'll tell you that right now, and I'll get into that. I'll get more into that later. Second thing. I normally make videos calling out the stupid and the problems with the various movies. The thing is, this is a kids movie. And because of that, kids movies I give concessions and allowances for, so I don't really call out the problems and issues in kids movies. Because believe me, I would, because there's a ton of problems and issues with this movie. As an example, at the end of the movie, after Optimus Prime gets the Matrix of Leadership, right, and the whole planet heals itself, what happens? Well, the planet heals itself, and all of this energy is flowing. All these rivers of energy are flowing all across the surface. Except the movie forgot one thing. The Quintessons are still up there. Just because Sentinel Prime is gone does not mean that the Quintessons are gone. They're still up there. And guess what, morons? You just gave them unlimited energy. You think you might have wanted to get rid of the Quintessons first before you gave them unlimited energy. But I digress. But as I said, that's an example of the stupid and problem in this movie, that because it's a kids movie, I'm not going to talk about, and I'm not going to bring up, and I'm not going to establish how brain dead stupid it was. And lastly, this is going to be a very biased review. This is not going to be a fair and balanced review of the movie. Because when it comes to Transformers movie, there's only one Transformer I care about. And a Transformers movie lives or dies or passes or fails based solely on how they depict, represent, and a show the greatest Transformer of all time, Starscream. And unfortunately, this movie, Transformers 1, sucked. I mean, Jesus Christ. Because again, do you think I did not watch this movie for Optimus Prime or Megatron and how they were friends and how they became enemies and blah, blah, blah. No, I don't even like Optimus Prime. When the animated Transformers movie from like the 1980s, 84 or 86 came out, I was the only one in the audience that actually cheered when Optimus Prime died. And I went, thank God I no longer have to hear this sanctimonious loser anymore. And as for Megatron, Jesus Christ, can the writers cheat any more in favor of Megatron so that they can keep Starscream from his rightful place as leader of the Decepticons? I love how Megatron just magically is immune to Starscream's null ray cannon. Isn't that convenient? But for some reason beyond my understanding, this movie decides to focus on Optimus Prime and Megatron. And that's the problem. That's the problem. If you want to make a proper Transformers movie, you have to make a Transformers movie that focuses and establishes the brilliance and magnificence of that is Starscream. But what does this movie do instead? Regulates him to a 3-minute scene. And this is... Now, to the movie's credit, they did some things properly. In regard, like they had it so that Starscream was the leader of the what was it called, the Cybertron High Guard. At least they had already established that he was the leader of the Decepticons. Again, this movie established that Starscream was already the leader before Megatron even showed up. But one of my favorite scenes in this movie is that you have Megatron and Starscream, fighting it out. And you have and there's a point where Megatron has Starscream on the ground, and Megatron is just wailing on Starscream's face, with all of his strength, all of his might, all of his rage. And Starscream's going, "Is that all you got, bitch?" Like he's laughing at him. This is how that scene establishes how actually weak and useless Megatron is. He's punching Starscream with all of his might and all of his rage, and it means nothing to Starscream. He's laughing it off. But here's where the movie screws up even more so than just giving Starscream a 3-minute scene. The movie has to cheat in Megatron's favor, otherwise there's no way Megatron would have survived. Because here's the thing, in the beginning of the fight, Megatron doesn't actually have a ranged weapon. Here's the thing, Starscream does. In fact, one of his ranged weapons is a weapon called a null ray cannon. Now, as Megatron's walking away, all Starscream had to do was hit him with the null ray cannon, and as Megatron is on the ground, in spasming, Starscream could have gone, "Nobody leaves unless I say so." But the movie can't do that, because otherwise Megatron is going to get his ass kicked the way he's supposed to be, and the movie can't do that. Here's the other thing. Because Megatron doesn't actually have a ranged weapon, he can only fight hand-to-hand. So does the movie have Starscream, who's supposed to be this sneaky, what are those slanderous terms everybody seems to use in regards to, Starscream's tactical genius? Oh, he's sneaky, he's a backstabber, he's a weasel. But for some reason, he's all of these things, yet doesn't actually use any of those slanderous tactics against Megatron. Because he could have easily just used his ranged weapon to attack, and take out Megatron. Instead, what does the noble and fair-minded Starscream do? Realizes that his lesser opponent doesn't actually have a ranged weapon and is a pathetic transformer that can only resort to hand-to-hand attacks. So what does Starscream do? He has pity on Megatron and goes, since this loser can only attack hand-to-hand, Starscream obliges as the decent human being, the decent transformer that he is, and goes, "Fine, I won't cheat, even though everybody accuses me of being a cheater and everybody accuses me of being deceptive and being underhanded." What does Starscream do? Actually decides to fair fight Megatron. Why? Because he still knew that he was going to kick his ass, because Megatron can't do crap. But the cheating in Megatron's favor doesn't end there. This movie actually has it that Megatron, who 5 minutes ago was a miner his entire life, never been in a fight in his entire life, has no fighting skills, no combat skills, nothing. And he's going up against Starscream, who is a legend as the high guard of Cybertron. His fighting skills are legendary. You have Starscream, who has been in a guerrilla warfare against Sentinel Prime and his legions, as well as the Quintessons and their legions. Like this, you have Starscream, who is an established, hardened, battle-worn warrior with God knows how many cycles of combat knowledge and combat skills, and he goes up against Megatron, who just got his cock 5 minutes ago, who's never been in a fight in his entire life, and somehow takes out Starscream, a member of the, high guard? Bullshit. Bullshit. This is how this movie has to cheat to actually deny Starscream the glory that is his, that is rightfully his. Starscream actually earned his position as the leader of, I guess they're not really the Decepticons yet, but Starscream actually earned the position of leader. In Megatron, what does he do? He goes, I'm going to go kill Sentinel Prime. And that's it. No way of establishing how he's going to do it, because there's no way Megatron. It's bad enough that Megatron was able to take on Starscream. That wasn't cheating enough. You have Megatron going up against Sentinel Prime and winning. This movie, the only way Megatron survives this movie and makes it through this movie and becomes the leader of the Decepticons is because the movie blatantly cheats and has so much plot armor up Megatron's ass. It's amazing. And this movie is yet another Transformers movie that blatantly establishes the plot armor that is necessary for Megatron to be the leader, as opposed to the rightful leader who actually earned it, Starscream. So even with just the 3 minutes of screen time that Starscream had in this movie, they screwed up most of it and literally invalidated why Megatron should. They not only invalidated why Megatron should even be alive, but they've invalidated why he's actually the leader. But anyway, that's the movie. That's everything else. Everything else other than the 3 minutes, that 3 minute scene involving Starscream, the rest of the movie was really pretty much irrelevant. It was pretty much filler. Again, other than Badassatron's participation and involvement, that was amazing. But everything else was just, first of all, it took an hour before the main value of this movie, the Transformer, actually worth seeing, showed up. It took an hour before Starscream showed up. So I'm literally sitting through the first hour, bored out of my mind, except, of course, for Badassatron. He was great. And like I said, again, because it's a kids' movie, I'm not going to talk about all of the stupid and problems with this movie, other than, the fact that, the Quintessons, have unlimited energy and they're on the surface, and apparently everybody in the city is, apparently, Optimus Prime, the great leader that he is, forgot that the enemy, that their mortal enemy is on the surface. I kind of slipped his mind. Apparently, this is the great leader of the great leader Optimus Prime. Anyway, so yeah, unfortunately, I have to give Transformers One a one. The fact that it's called Transformers One is actually more appropriate than I thought, because this Transformers movie is literally a 1 out of 10 or a 1 out of 5 or a 1 out of whatever. Because yeah, the and you know what? See, this is why this movie only made $50 million at the box office so far. Because why? For some dumbass reason, it's focused on Optimus Prime and Megatron, which apparently the world doesn't care about. They don't care. Nobody cares about Megatron and Optimus Prime and how they became friends. If take if this movie had focused on Starscream and his rise to power and how he was the rightful leader of the Decepticons and stuff like that, guess what? This movie would have made $1 billion easy. $1 billion easy. But this is Hasbro throwing away money because so many of you losers are just, oh, we love Megatron. Ooh, we love Optimus Prime. Ah, well, this is the end result. A Transformers movie that's going to fade from memory faster than the Michael Bay movies. Anyway, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Because here's the other thing about this movie. Other than that 3-minute scene with Starscream, the rest of the movie is pretty much forgettable. It really is. It's forgettable. So there's really not much to. I really can't call out any problems to a movie I really can't remember. But hey, make a movie focusing on Optimus Prime and Megatron, and that's the results. Maybe if we're lucky, and Hasbro or whoever owns Transformers in the sequel, because I'm sure there's going to be a sequel, focus on Starscream, and you will have a mega blockbuster on your hands. Just try to help out. Just try to help out, Hasbro. But you know what? Do what you're going to do. Anyway, I guess I rambled long enough. Anyway, I'm done. I'm good. I'm out of here. See ya.